Good evening, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Bagman Report, where every week Fred Alvader and I bring you the pivotal stories and unforgettable moments from the world of golf. Tonight, we have plenty to dig into, from record-breaking wins on the DP World Tour to shakeups on the PGA and Champions Tours, the latest drama from the LPGA season finale, and a big change in format coming from LIV Golf. So, my name is Carlos Torres, and as usual, I'm with Fred Alvader. Fred, hi, how are you today?
Carlos, fantastic, beautiful, beautiful day up here in Cadillac, Michigan. A little cool. I'm in the low 30s, down in the teens and 20s at night. Winter is rapidly approaching. Well, I had some snow up here last week, so a couple inches. So we're getting into winter as the golf season are winding down. Carlos, we got a few things to talk about tonight. Just kind of clean up some things.
Let's do, and let's kick some things off with a heartfelt moment from the DB World Tour. I mean, Rory McIlroy might have finished behind Matt Fitzpatrick in the tournament, but his season-long consistency earned him the prestigious Order of Merit for a seventh time. Okay, that ties him up with golf legend Seve Ballesteros, placing Rory in a rare company. Only Colin Montgomery sits above them with eight. He's just one of Colin, and he has a ton of golf to go to play. So the win was especially meaningful for Rory, who has spoken about his deep reverence for Seve, who's a hero in his home and father's favorite player. McIlroy said hearing Seve's name brings him back through his journey in golf and admitted, and I quote, never got this far in my dreams. Fred, what does this accomplishment means for Rory's legacy and the European tour as a whole?
Carlos, we've been watching Rory for a long, long time. And, I think we fail to appreciate just how good he really is. He's done all this in the Tiger era, okay? And so he's a worthy opponent. Um, you got a short list here of guys, and we can go back and, we can talk about uh, Hogan and Snead and Byron Nelson and on to Palmer and on to Jack and on to Tiger and maybe even throw Phil in there a little bit. I begrudgingly do so, but Rory, he's got five majors. He's won all four of them. He's got his career Grand Slam, and now he's got seven DP World Tour Order of Merits. Um, so Carlos, in the Order of Merit deal or on the DP World Tour, to me, you've got Seve, you've got Bernhard Langer, you got Monty, and you got Rory. Langer had 42 European Tour wins, second all time, two Masters titles. Monty had eight Order of Merits, no majors, but he was a Ryder Cup standout for the Europeans every time. Seve, the gold standard, 50 European Tour wins, two Masters, three Opens, five majors, so he ties Rory with that. Rory, even though he plays mainly in America, still has 20 European wins, but he has 29 PGA Tour wins, plus that career Grand Slam thing. So, Carlos, I want to ask you, um, who's the most important European player of these four? I mean, these got to be the top four, right?
Definitely, and I think it's a tough thing to answer because there are different times and different goals that each one represents, right? When Seve was playing, there wasn't this big global tour. I'm not gonna say global tour, but global appeal that the PGA Tour is having, like it is right now. The importance of the PGA Tour in the world of golf is very different now than what it was before after. So, I mean before. So, if you want to measure which ones, each one, I would say each one is as important in its own era. Seve was the most important in his era, and Rory may be the most important right now in European Tour history. So I think both serve as great ambassadors of what European tour golf is, and each one of them is deservingly so. To me, Seve had his era, and we can't compare. To me, I just can't try to put them in the same place.
Yeah, I get it. I do. I thought about this today a little bit myself, and I still think the era that Seve was in, it was a whole different world back then. The European Tour was just, I mean, it was barely scraping by. The money was not that great. The PGA Tour was not the force that it is today. It was still the big dog in the world, but it wasn't the force that it is today. And European Tour players just came over sparingly because they didn't have membership in the PGA Tour. They didn't have free access to play in the events. So the opening wasn't there for Seve to play a lot. And he could have. I mean, he could have got sponsor exemptions and played, but he chose to stay in Europe, and so he was a major factor there. So I think, and all the players seem to Seve to the European Tour is what Arnold Palmer was to the American Tour. So you got to kind of give the nod to Seve, even though Rory has had a fantastic career and he's still a relatively young man. He's got another 7, 8 years of really competitive golf left in him, so he could blow away a lot of the numbers. But I think I'm beginning to put Rory in a different category with the Tigers and the Jacks and the Arnolds. He's just not a good player. He's a fantastic generational talent.
It definitely is, and I think you hit it on the nail with that analogy of Seve being the Arnold to the European Tour. I think it sums it up perfectly. And one thing that I would say is that maybe because of Seve's charisma and the character that he was, that's what has made him transcend time. He's timeless because of that. I mean, and that's why so many people revere him as one of their heroes. Just like Rory says it too. You know, it's because of how he was. If Rory would be more of that branding, I think he would have surpassed already. He would be in Tiger's sphere regarding influence at this time. But anyway, I think Fred, his journey threads together history and heart. To me, it reminds us of how legacies are built on inspiration and passion. So, as we move on, let's shift to the pressure-packed finale on the PGA Tour, which, wow, it was winding down this past week at the RSM Classic, with every round was carrying immense consequences. For many players that were fighting near the cut line, their future hung on the balance. There were playing privilege, career momentum, even sponsorship deals were all on the table. Whether they were a seasoned pro or a newcomer, that week truly separated survivors from the hopefuls. So, Fred, tell us a little bit about who survived and who didn't.
Yeah, well, some guys did not. Webb Simpson, Zach Johnson, Gary Woodland, Cameron Champ, Jimmy Walker, Francisco Molinari, Zach Blair, and Wes Bryant. So all of these guys, except maybe Zach Blair and Wesley Bryan, are kind of part timers at this point. They're older guys and they don't play all the time, and so they're outside, but they're still going to have status. There's going to be some tournaments, but they technically lost their cards. Matt Kuchar, Joel Damon, Daniel Berger are still going to be in. And remember, this is the first year now we've gone to 100 cards instead of 125. We've got all the guys coming up from the Corn Ferry Tour that are gonna take up some space on the PGA Tour, but we're going to have a little bit smaller fields. They're trying to get more money to the players, so by doing that, they're cutting the fields down so they can pay a larger portion of the purse to each player. But it cuts some guys out that are going to have to go back to Corn Ferry Tour and work their way back to PGA Tour, Carlos. But yeah, it was pretty tense, and it always is, but this year even more so because we're down to 100 players.
It is, and the drama there at the RSM shows golf is unforgiving. I mean, just a few shots can change a season story, and that's what happened. So now let's celebrate a veteran who prevailed on one on the biggest Champions Tour stage. Stewart Cink was crowned this past weekend as he rose to the occasion and clinched the Schwab Cup on the Champions Tour. His win stands as a testament to experience and underlying competitive fire, leaving fans inspired by his late career resurgence, really. After years grinding on tour, you can say that the satisfaction of hoisting the Schwab Cup puts a resounding exclamation point on his journey so far. Fred, what stands out most to you about Stewart's season and his breakthrough for the over 50 crowd.
Well, Stewart Cink is always going to be remembered for winning, for taking the Open Championship away from 59-year-old Tom Watson, right? It's unfortunate. He got his major, but at the expense of Tom Watson. This was his fourth win on the PGA Tour Champions in 36 starts. Third win of this year. He had 21 starts this year. His previous win was the Insperity Invitational, the Ally Challenge. He becomes the fourth three-time winner of the 2025 season. You got Miguel Angel Jimenez, Angel Cabrera, and Steve Allen all won three times this year. So Alker was right there. He led after the first three rounds, but Cink, little 67 there on Sunday to end up prevailing and winning and winning the whole deal. So he gets the big check, he gets the big trophy, and kudos to Stewart Cink.
Yeah, I mean, he proves that age is just a number and the passion for golf knows no timeline, really. So let's swing over to the LPGA where the season finale has drama of its own. Okay, it's a big week for the LPGA as the best in the world gather for the CME Group Championship. To close out the season, Lynn Grant arrives riding high after her win at the Annika event. And while the spotlight also falls on Nelly Korda, who's looking to cap her year with a statement victory. I wonder if Nelly will pull off a final flourish to salvage her season, or will another contender seize the moment and claim the crown in Naples? Fred, how do you have your eye on the LPGA's top stars as they battle it out one last time this year?
Tiburon's a tough golf course. We get to see Tiburon quite a bit, actually. There's two or three tournaments that are played there. It's outside of Naples, Ritz-Carlton on property. It's quite a place. Been there a couple times. We got Lynn Grant coming off the win at the Annika last week. That's always a fun event. Will Nelly save her season with a big win? She just has, in 2025, she played in 18 events this year. She had eight top 10. She made the cut in every start. She had eight top tens, but zero wins, and she's still number two in the world behind Gino Thedico, who actually won this event last year. So she got to be kind of the favorite. She's playing at a high level again this year, so she's probably the favorite coming in. But you got to think that Nelly's got. Yeah, I mean, she seems to be at a place in her life where she's enjoying stuff off the golf course and maybe not working as hard at her golf. She's achieved the top level. And we see this all the time with players. They get to the top and then they peak, and then okay, I'm not going to go out there and spend another half hour practice. I'm going to go do something else. I got other things to do. I got enough money in my pocket. I don't need to stay out here and beat these balls. So we need to see Nelly Korda win. The LPGA needs to see Nelly Korda win. But Carlos, I got a lot of stuff here for the LPGA, so I'm going to go on. You can take a nap or something. I'm going to go on for a minute or two here. But there was big news today. They signed a new sponsor agreement with FM, who is an insurance company. They'll become an official partner of the LPGA, title sponsor since 2024 of the FM Championship. But it's going to be a 4.1 million purse, the largest on tour. So the new deal, every round of an LPGA event in America is going to be on TV. This is the first time for like ever that's going to happen. 50% increase total number of cameras, so much more cameras at every event. Slow motion cameras, more microphones, drone coverage, heightened focus on athlete storytelling. So a lot more stuff. This is exactly what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, Carlos. They've got to make a splash and do more stuff. The LPGA is kind of dying on the vine here. They've got to do some better marketing and get a better product out there, and that's what this does. So good for that. And also, Carlos, I want to mention if you're going to watch the CME Group Championship this weekend, you better keep your remote handy because they're bouncing around between ESPN Plus. They're going NBC Sports, NBC Sports app, Peacock, and Golf Channel. So you got them all, right? They just keep bouncing all over the place. Thursday, first round, you're going to be on NBC Digital, then the Golf Channel, 3 to 5 p.m. And ESPN Plus is going to be live streaming all day long from like 8 in the morning until 4 p.m. So if you got ESPN Plus, you can watch pretty much the whole thing. But go find out what you got because it's on peak. The final round on Sunday will be on NBC and Peacock from 1 to 4, and again it'll be streaming on ESPN Plus. But so that's another thing. Then the other thing I want to just mention real quick, I'll get out of here. The season award winners were announced last night. Miyu Yamashita was the third Japanese player to win the Rookie of the Year. Did you have that one? Did you call Yamashita at the beginning of the year? Oh my God, you missed one.
No, I don't know.
It's too long ago.
Uh,
I don't remember us talking about it.
I have to go back to the show where we did it.
Minji Lee won the Annika Award, did the best in the majors. Plus, she won one. And Founders Award, Stacey Lewis was given the Founders Award for her 13 career victories and major championships and her Solheim Cup captaincy. So Stacey had a great career and was rewarded with the Founders Award. So Carlos, that's a lot of stuff about the LPGA for you.
It is, and don't go. You said you're leaving, so don't go because we still have one more topic to go. So,
Okay.
yeah, the energy in Naples will be electric, so much on the line. So let's see who will define the LPGA's year as a true champion. So our next topic shakes up the game beyond the fairways. Last week, LIV Golf made headlines with a big format change, announcing their tournaments will finally run 72 holes instead of 54. That move is part of a bid for official world golf ranking points, hoping to sway the gatekeepers at the OWGR into recognizing their events. But the conversation is complicated. I mean, questions remain about the tour's closed shop structure and what more is needed for legitimacy. So I think that's a step, but maybe too late. Fred, do you think this change is enough to win the OWGR, or are deeper issues still standing in LIV's way?
I don't think it's going to do it because the closed shop is still an issue. You're looking at what 54 players, and they don't really vary from that during the season. Did you see that Victor Perez jumped today to the LIV? A little surprising, but they've already announced they're not doing the bonuses for re-signing or new signings. I just don't see why a guy would want to play there. It doesn't make sense to me. And I think we've talked about this before, but they're trying. I mean, this is a big step, but I don't think 72 holes is going to get it done. It might, but you got guys like Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Cam Smith, DeChambeau who need ranking points. Now, DeChambeau is good for another few years because he's won a couple majors lately. But some of these guys are going to be falling off. They're not going to be able to get into the majors because they're not going to be eligible. So it's getting critical for some of these guys. And like I've told you before, Carlos, if I were the Brian Roloff, the commissioner of the PGA Tour, I guess the CEO, I shouldn't say commissioner, he's the CEO now. I'd be going to some sponsors and saying, get a hold of DeChambeau, give him new sponsorship deals. We need him back on the PGA Tour. If he comes back to PGA Tour, you'll give him a $5 million endorsement deal or something so he can get 20 million to come back over because you can't pay appearance money, but you can pay sponsor money. So that's how I would lure him back if I were the CEO of the PGA Tour. The rest of the guys really don't matter, but PGA Tour needs DeChambeau back. He is probably the most popular guy right now out there in golf. People want to see him play, because he's so engaging on social media and those kind of things. They want to see him there. But back to the original question, I don't think 72 holes is going to be enough. The closed shop is still an issue. I think with the deciders of the OWGR of the ranking points. So we'll see, Carlos. But they're trying to meet them a little bit, but I don't think they went far enough.
Yeah, I think it's too late. It's too late for them, so we'll see. But that format shakeup maybe could reshape the future of professional golf if the world listens, right? I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. So before we wrap, let's share a few final thoughts on everything we unpacked today. I have to admit, I just checked here. I did not pick Miyu Yamashita. It was Rio Takeda who I should say.
Okay. All
It
right.
is the
See,
first
yep.
year I have to
Yeah.
admit it that I didn't. So it was, I
Yeah.
was like, no, when you came with that, I was like, that's not the name I had in my mind. So yeah, it was Rio Takeda. So if anybody goes back in the shows, yeah, you can, I can't pick it up. So any final thoughts?
No, Carlos, I was down at last week. I went to Pinehurst. I was at Hilton Head for the reopening of the newly renovated Harbortown Golf Links. When they entered the tournament last year in April, they closed the course and they did a bunch of renovation. They did it in 6 months. Davis Love
Wow.
led the group that did that, and so got a nice interview with Davis. I'll have it up on the site, up on the Back Nine Report TV on YouTube here sometime next week or so, and got to play there. Went down Jekyll Island, so had a nice little travel 10 days here at the beginning of November. But Pinehurst is wonderful. It's fantastic. It's so cool. So yeah, um, we're getting on to winter here, and golf season is wrapped up, and all the tours now are wrapping up, and so we're coming down the end of the year, Carlos, real quick.
Yeah, golf never stops evolving, whether it's legends, tying records, careers on the line, or new players changing the rules from DP World Tour to LIV Golf. Every corner of the sport has a story worth changing. So for us, that's it for this week's Back Nine Report. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we love bringing it to you. All the action, heart, and drama of golf has to offer. Remember to like and follow the show so you never miss an episode, and join us every week for more stories from the Back Nine and beyond. Thank you for joining us.